Ram Ram, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna. So in the 5th chapter, that is Karma Yoga, Action, Krishna Consciousness. Okay, we are in 12th sloka. So there's only 20 slokas, so we'll finish it fast. Okay, so we 5:12. Okay. So we'll continue with 5:12. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shanti mapnoti naishtikim ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nibhadyate. The steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities to Krishna, whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, become entangled. So what is that called as? That is giving the results or of the activities to Krishna called as? Yes, what is it called?
Renunciation.
Yukta Vairagya.
Yukta Vairagya means using everything in Krishna's service. This is giving up the results. Yes, Balaji Prabhu?
Akarma.
Balaji Prabhu said what?
Akarma.
Nishkama karma. Very good. Akarma is devotional service. Akarma is devotional service, which doesn't have any reaction coming. But this is, they're doing the activities and the results are given. Okay. So offer the results of all the activities to Krishna. That's called Nishkama karma yoga. Nishkama karma means not attached to the fruits of the activities. But akarma is something different. Akarma is devotional service. There is no nothing to give up the results because everything is nullified there. Actually, no pious or punya or papa comes. In fact, all the sinful reactions gets burned in akarma. So akarma is where there is no reactions at all. But here there is results is there and it is given to Krishna. That is called Nishkama Karma Yoga. And somebody who's greedy for the fruits of his labor, that is who?
Karmi.
Who's that? Karmi or a karmakanti, you can say. And yes, a pakka karmi who is completely bothered only about the results, or so greedy to the fruits of his labor. And then what happens? He becomes entangled. Again and again, he gets bound here. The person who's attached to Krishna and works for him only is certainly a liberated person. That person is an akarmi. Activities in Krishna consciousness is on the absolute plane. So there is no reactions coming. In fact, all the sinful reactions get crushed by doing that. So that person who is attached to Krishna and works for Krishna, such a person is not entangled, or in the sense he actually have peace. Okay, so this is that peace formula. We'll see later on, I think the 29 slokas, right? 529, yeah. So 29th sloka says, Bhoktaramitra tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantim pritchati. So the peace formula is given in this sloka. Yes, 29th sloka of this chapter. Very important sloka to be memorized, and says, Bhoktaramitra tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Krishna is the Bhokta. He is the controller. He is the enjoyer. And sarvaloka maheshwaram. He controls the whole world. So, and then suhridam sarvabhutanam. He's our only well-wisher or a friend. And if you know this, Jnatva mam shantim pritchati. If you know this, you get that shanti or peace. Okay, so this is the peace formula. Prabhupada says that to understand that Krishna is the controller, Krishna is the enjoyer, and he's our well-wishing friend. If we know that we are not the enjoyer, Krishna is the enjoyer, Krishna is the controller, then we'll have peace. And also Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Mukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanda. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Ashanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami. Like Bhukti. Bhukti means somebody who wants material profits. And Bhukti Mukti, somebody want liberation or moksha. And Siddhi, like the Ashta Siddhas are there, no? That's Anima, Lagima, Mahima, all that Siddhis. So somebody who wants all these three, Sakale Ashanta, they are Ashanta, they're not peaceful. Why? Because they want something from the Lord. They always want something. So when they don't get it, they become upset. But Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, he doesn't have any desires. His desires are purified. Whatever Krishna gives, he accepts, he's satisfied. And Ateva Shanta, he is very peaceful. Sarvakarmani manasa sanyasaste sukham vasi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvana karayan. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, a material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. So the soul, actually what happens, when he is when he renounces action, in the sense, Mataji, as Mataji said, Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya is a term. Does anyone know what is it? Yukta Vairagya. For any example for Yukta Vairagya?
Yes, Mataji.
What is it?
Like we are using this laptop in service of Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is Yukta Vairagya. Like you use the laptop or mobile or whatever, all the gadgets you have in Krishna's conscious service, or to learn Bhagavad Gita, to preach Krishna consciousness. Then that's Yukta Vairagya. But a yogi might see this laptop as Maya. He might run away from laptop, saying that, oh, it's Maya, I can't use it, or it'll spoil my renunciation, or a sannyas. I mean, that is a fake Vairagya, Falku Vairagya, we can say, because inside they have desires. So there are two terms. You will see the study in Nectar of Devotion, that is our unit 4, module 4, we'll study in detail that anasaktasya vishaya yadarha upayunjare nirbande Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagya muchite. Nirbande Krishna sambandhe. Anything, this microphone, this laptop, mobile, can be used in Krishna service. Like Srila Prabhupada used a dictaphone to translate. It would have taken a lot of time for Prabhupada to write and then print it and edit it and all. Because of the dictaphone, he could record so many slokas of Bhagavatam and in a short period of time. Prabhupada used flights. People were criticizing him. You're a sannyasi, you renounced everything and using flights. I mean, that's like posh. You use modern cars and everything, but that's for preaching. Prabhupada used it for preaching. Prabhupada didn't, because it would have taken him a long time to go in a ship or somewhere to a different parts of the world. But by using this modern gadgets, he could, modern equipments, he could fly and go anywhere, any part of the world and preach Krishna consciousness in a short time. So he used everything in Krishna service. Or when we use anything in Krishna service, that's called Yukta Vairagya. But Falgu Vairagya is opposite. Now, what do you mean by Falgu? Does anyone know Falgu?
Mataji, it is like pretending something.
Yeah,
Fake.
pretending. Falgu is a river, actually. You know the specialty of that river? It's in Gaya. Okay, so this river, it looks very deep, but it's shallow. When you look the river, it looks like, oh, it's so deep, you can't get inside. But the moment you put a stick or something and see, it's very shallow. So similarly, or a monkey or a Markada Vairagi, it is said. Like you see a monkey in the forest, it doesn't even have a dress. It doesn't have a house. But inside, what is it thinking? Of sense gratification. How can I satisfy my senses? If you have gone to Vrindavan, you know. Those who go to Vrindavan, you can't have your spectacles on because the monkeys from somewhere comes and grabs it and go away. And then he takes your purse, it takes your mobile and whatnot, just and start eating, or takes your cap and do everything. So much sense gratification inside, but outside, monkey looks like a Vairagi. It's also called Smashana Vairaga. Smashana Vairagya, when Raghunath Das Goswami went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu said the same thing. Don't do Smashana Vairagya. Now you go to Smashana means a crematorium, and you go and see a dead body getting burned, and or for that matter, see somebody dead. You know, that ceremony and all is happening, that soul left the body. What will you think? Array, what? See, such a big businessman or such a big doctor, whatever he does, everything is gone. Mrityu sarva harasya, death will take everything. This is what is going to happen to me also, right? One day I have to go. Everyone has to go. So why am I running and working hard like an ass and a dog and so much for sense gratification? Let me turn to spiritual. You start renouncing things when you see somebody dying. So that is for a small time. And the moment you come back home from that crematorium, again, all sense gratification thoughts come to us. So this is called Smashana Vairagya. For some time, there is renunciation in our mind, but it's not. Or a pretender or kapata sannyasi, where you say outside he's a sannyasi, but inside so much sense gratification. It happens in Kali Yuga. So we should not do that, Falgu Vairagya. Prapanchika Daya Buddhya Hari Sambandhi Vastara Mumukshibi Parityaga Vairagyam Falgu Prichyate. It says that we should not falsely renounce anything. Everything, whatever Krishna gave us, like if Krishna has given you some good education, some nice money or some fame and power, something, use it in Krishna service. No? Somewhere you somehow see that you use it in Krishna service. So that's what we should do. And when we do that, we can be happily reciting in the body with 9 gates. What are the 9 gates of the body? Our material body. 9 gates, Navadwara it says.
Marathi, it's 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and
Yeah.
below parts are genitals.
Genitals, rectum, all that. So these are the 9 gates it is said. So there are 3 doers, Bhagavad Gita says in the next section. That is, we have to get detached from the material events, and one who understands that he is not this material body or senses and is not concerned with their satisfaction. He appreciates that he has no direct control over material phenomena. So attachment to them is useless. And he is too busy serving the Lord, and he's so blissful in Krishna consciousness to take to mundane sense gratification. So devotionally, he fixes his consciousness, mind, intelligence, faith on the supersoul. And thus one gets fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge attained by liberation. Okay, so there are actually 3 doers. I think we've discussed this. Who are the 3 doers? Who knows? The 3 doers.
Jiva, Paramatma, and Prakriti.
Paramatma and Prakriti, yes. So the Jiva desires, right? The living entity desires. Then the super soul or Krishna sanctions it as Paramatma, and the material nature, the 3 modes of material nature, carries it out. So there are 3 doers. We should not think, oh, I'm the doer. Now you achieve something in life, and then you should not say, oh, I did that. No. We just desired, or we just put the endeavor, but the energy and the power, everything is given by the super soul. Or Krishna has sanctioned it, and the 3 modes of material nature has carried it out. So there are 3 doers. We are not the only doer. But in that case, if a Jivatma desires something negative, there is so much terrorism and everything. That also Krishna sanctions, right? Why? Why is Krishna doing that? So
Because
Jiva
that is the
desire.
desire. That's the
Yes,
desire.
yeah, the
If
Jiva
Mataji,
desire.
because
Actually,
Jiva
there
is desiring this.
free will.
Yeah, so
giving.
Krishna doesn't want to interfere into the freedom of
yeah,
the
and
Jiva.
Krishna never interfere in our minute independence. Very good. So we have our minute independence. Krishna never interfere into that. You can misuse it or use it in the right way. And when the Jiva is so adamantly desiring, then as a sweet father, Krishna sanctions this so that we learn from that lesson. We learn some lessons from it. So that's why Krishna is doing that. It's not that Krishna is sanctioning all negative things in life. That's because the Jiva actually desired it. And some sinful desires from previous life also is there. Okay. So in 13th sloka, I say, Sarva karmani manasa sannyasasте sukambasi navadvare pure dehi naiva kurvanna karayan. So in that, here it is said, the soul is placed in the body, which is of 9 gates, that is 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, mouth, anus, and genitals. And the soul has a choice, actually, although subjecting oneself to the condition of the body, one can be beyond those conditions if we desire. Like, for example, you could have watched a movie now, but instead you came for the class. So you used your freedom in a good way. But if you misuse that freedom, then that's your desire, and material nature will arrange in such a way. It is said that if you desire to forget Krishna, then Krishna will arrange your life in such a way that you forget Krishna. But if you really want to remember Krishna and be in Krishna consciousness, Krishna will arrange your life in such a way, mold your life in such a way that 24 hours we think about Krishna, or yeah, and like that. So that's the desire is important. And desire is the reason why we are taking birth again and again, right? So we should spiritualize. Only a stone can be desireless. Prabhupada says everyone have desire, but the desire has to be spiritualized. Now, Atmendra Triptivancha Taranakam, Krishnendra Triptivancha Tarabali Prem. So we have to try to satisfy Krishna's senses. That's prema or love. So cause of soul suffering is because of forgetfulness of our nature. That Jivira Surabhoi Krishna and Nityadas, that we are eternal servants of Krishna. We forget that. And identifying with the material nature. That's why we are suffering. And solution to the suffering is revival of one's real position by Krishna consciousness. We should know that, yes, I'm part and parcel of Krishna. Mame Mamsho Jiva Logi Jiva Buddha Sanatana. I'm part and parcel of Krishna. I'm part of the Lord. So I have to serve the Lord. Once you understand that, then the suffering ends. Okay. So that's why Prabhupada says we have to spread Krishna consciousness so that the whole humanity, the whole population in the world, everybody will be peaceful and happy. So when the living entity identifies with the Lord within himself, he becomes just as free as the Lord, even while in the body. Therefore, Krishna conscious person is free from both outer and inner activities of the material body. Na kartritvam na karmani lokasya shuchiti prabhu na karma phala samyogam swabhavastu pravartate. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of activities. Okay, all this is enacted by the modes of material nature. So actually, the super soul is a witness. Paramatma is a witness. Krishna doesn't interfere in any of your minute independence. Krishna doesn't create the fruits of action or anything. He's aloof. What's the example given? What's the analogy to show Krishna is aloof?
It's lotus flower.
Yeah, lotus leaf, the flower leaf. Padma patram ivambasha. So the lotus leaf is like how much of water sticks to that lotus leaf, still it remains very dry. Or a dry coconut, if you see. It is within the shell, but not attached to the shell. So Krishna's aloof, like a high court judge, you can say. High court judge is not attached to any of this party, but he gives neutral, impartial comments or a verdict, right? So, and he's aloof from that karma. So similarly, the Lord is said as a witness. We can't blame the Lord for all the activities. When we suffer, we actually blame Krishna. Why Krishna? Why is happening to me? And things like that. But actually, it's not. We should not do that because it's our karma coming back, or we have did that sin, or we desired it, and we are suffering. Okay. So here it says, the living entity is the superior energy of the Lord compared to matter, and matter is the inferior energy of the Lord. So there are two classifications of Krishna's energy, which is that one is superior, inferior energy. Superior energy is the jiva, inferior is the matter or the material nature. What is the other classification of Krishna's energy?
Marginal energy.
Marginal
Marginal, very good. That is
Bahiranga
Tadastha. And Bahiranga, that is external energy.
Taranga, Tatastha.
Andaranga is the internal energy, yes. So Bahiranga Shakti or the external energy is the Mahamaya, the material nature, the three modes of material nature. The internal energy or the Antaranga Shakti is the Hladini Shakti, the internal potency of the Lord, which is devotional service. And the Tadastha Shakti is the marginal potency is who? Tadastha is?
The living
Jiva.
beings.
Jiva. Conditioned soul.
Why are we called Tadastha or marginal?
Because
Because
we
we
can
can,
Actually a part of super soul and we are
because we can
we are
go
a part
to
of
either end any time.
either here.
Yeah, so you are given, the jivas are given a minute independence. We can choose, either we can go to the external energy of the Lord, like in the sense lost in Maya, forgetting Krishna, or we can go near the internal energy of the Lord, like we can engage ourselves in devotional service. So that is Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. So in between that. Okay, so what is the analogy given of this Tadasya Shakti? Does anyone know? It's like what? Example. Or analogy means you compare it to what? This Tadastha Shakti, Tadastha, marginal. Okay, so example given is we go to the beach area, there is a place where there is neither water nor the land. In the sense, the place where we walk, okay, just once you finish the sand and you are about to reach the water, there is a small place where you walk, no, where we play and where the children play and where they walk. So that area, what happens? It's neither completely dry nor completely wet. It's mixed. Why? Because sometimes at night or during high tide, high waves, or at in rainy season, it might come under the water area, that land, that piece of area. Now, at in summer season or might be in the mid noon or something, since the water level is low, that area might be completely dry. So that area, which is between the water in the ocean and the complete shore, the sandy area, that area is called the marginal area, Tadastha, because it's between, and it can either come in the water or it can come in the land area. So it's like that. So Tadastha or marginal energy of the Lord is the living entity or jiva, because we can either go to the internal energy or the external energy of the Lord. So the internal energy, that is Yoga Maya herself, will act as Mahamaya for non-devotees. But for devotees, it's Yoga Maya acting. Okay, so ignorance is the cause of our suffering. What is the ignorance? That we are part and parcel of Krishna, and we are forgetting that we are spirit, soul, or living or jivas. The identifying oneself with the body. That is why we are suffering. Yasya atma buddhi trinape kunape dhritatuke swadi kalatrati shabhauma ijjati yat tirtha buddhi salinena karhuchit janesha pitnesha sa eva gokara. It says yasya atma buddhi trinape kunape dhatuka. So the body is made up of three elements. Three dhatuka. What are they? Three elements.
Vata, Pitta, Kapha.
Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So you have the bile, then we have mucus, and then what else? Mucus, bile and air, no? Kapha, Vayu and Pitta. So because in Ayurveda they said you'll have diseases either because of the imbalance of these three things. If the mucus level is more, you have some respiratory problem. No, like that. So this material body, even though made up of 5 gross elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, there is three other elements also made up of this body made up of. So when we think that my body is made up of these elements, and Swadi Kalatra Dishabhama, my wife, my relatives, all these are mine, aham mameti. No, think that me, my. When we think that, or when you also think that your birthplace, no, sometimes you're so attached to your birth country that when the opposite country, something happens, you're like, especially in a match, cricket match happening in the opposite country, you always want your country to win. You always have this nationalism, so much love for the country. Now, what happens when that person dies? Even when he's thinking of his country at the time of death, then what happens to that person or that soul?
He again have to take birth in that piece of land.
Take birth. Yeah, he has to again come back to that piece of land, but may not be coming to that land because you're thinking about the opposite country all the time. Prabhupada says you might take birth in that opposite country, not as a human being, might be as a dog, because getting a human form of life, Manishya Janma Paya, Radha Krishna Napajiya, Janiya Shunya Vishakhaya. Manishya Janma Paya, even after getting a human form of life, Radha Krishna Napajiya, if we don't worship Radha and Krishna, then Janiya Shunya Vishakhaya. Purposely, knowingly, we are drinking poison. So that's what we were, drinking poison until we came to Krishna consciousness. We were like into material world, thinking about this body. We never thought about the soul. We never thought about the super soul. We never thought about eternal duty or what will take us away from birth, death, old age, disease cycle. So it says identifying oneself with the body and the activities. Savesh, Janesh, Apitnesha, Saeva, Go Go doesn't mean only cow, it means an animal. So if we are acting like that, thinking we are body and then acting according to that, not doing our dharma, then what happens? We are like an animal, a two-legged animal or a polished animal, Prabhupada says. Okay. So in that way, yes, we'll act as an animal. Okay. So what is the best solution? So living entity is not the master. The soul is neither the proprietor nor the controller of the action and reaction of the body. He's simply being tossed in the waves of material ocean in the struggle for existence. And what is the best solution to save the living entity from this? To get out of the water by transcendental Krishna consciousness. Nadate kashichit papam nachaiva sukritam vipuhu ajnanena avritam jnanam tena mukhyanti jnatava. Not as the Supreme Soul assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. So because of ignorance, our knowledge has been covered, right? But a guru comes and destroys that ignorance. Om Ajnana Timirandasi. He removes that and gives you jnana. So we have to, the super soul or Krishna is not bound by anyone's sinful or pious activities. Okay, so Lord is the ultimate performer actually, and the cause. He's the cause of all cause. And when knowledge sees material nature as being under Lord's control, material nature is under Krishna's control, and thus Lord is the ultimate performer and the cause of all cause. Sarva Karana Karana. The Supreme Lord is Vibhu, omniscient, versus the living entity is Anu. Anoraniya Mahato Mahya. Since material nature works under the Supreme Lord, he is thus the ultimate performer and cause of all action. Okay, because material nature, Krishna glances under of material nature and cause creation. So material nature cannot be independent. You know the analogy? To say that material nature is not independent. Only Krishna is Swarat or independent. Material nature is under Krishna's control. It looks independent, but it's not. Okay, you've seen the nipple on the goat's head. The nipples on the goat's head, it looks like nipples, but no milk doesn't come. So similarly, material nature looks independent, but she cannot create anything independently. She has to depend on Krishna. Okay, so in that way, that is one thing. And the scorpion laying eggs in the rice. Does anyone know that analogy? No? It will come in the next few chapters. Yes, Pooja Mataji.
It is creating, Hare Krishna Mataji. It is like it is creating the rice.
Yeah. So that means rice is, it's like, yes, Pooja Mataji.
Yeah, it means that like eggs are come from rice itself, but the main thing is that they are come from the scorpion.
Yeah.
So
So we have seen if the rice is like kept for a long time open and so many little small bugs or like scorpion, like small things comes out. And when a child sees that, the child thinks the rice has given birth to that scorpion. No, it's actually the mother scorpion laid eggs and then hatched and it all has come. So that means material nature looks independent like that, but no, it's not independent. It has to be impregnated by the Lord because Aham Bija Pradapita, Krishna says. So the material nature works under Krishna's Supreme Lord's supervision, and he's thus the ultimate performer. Thus, is the Lord responsible for all good and bad things in the material world? No, because the Lord only sanctions the desire of the minutely independent living entity. He is the sanctioner and the witness, but we desired it. So we are responsible for good and bad things in the world. Krishna sanctions it. It's the soul who initiates the desire, and therefore the living entity is responsible for all good and bad reactions. So whatever good and bad reactions coming in our life, it's all because of our karma. The Lord is neutral to everyone. Krishna says, Samoham sarva bhudeshu name dveshinastina priya. Ye bhajantitu mam bhaktya mai te teshu chapiham. So Krishna says, Samoham sarva bhudeshu name dveshinastina priya. I'm not hating anyone or I don't like anyone. I'm just partial to everyone. But Krishna takes special care of devotees. Why? Isn't that partiality? Why, Krishna?
No, Mataji.
Why?
Why? Because with an example, I would like to explain, Mataji. Like in the class, there are 30 students. Teacher will explain all the 30 students the same subject. But the branch students, they ask more questions, and teacher will be taking more interest in that first bench students in understanding and clarifying the students. That doesn't mean teacher is partial to the first bench students. She's teaching for everyone. But the interest shown by the first row students is more. That's the reason teacher is showing her interest. Hare Krishna.
So that means what interest is devotees showing to Krishna?
Bhakti, Mataji.
Yeah, that means they call out to Krishna. So another example, this is a nice example. Now, another example is, as Mataji said, a mother have two kids. One is very small, might be like 1 year old or something. The other one is like in 10th standard or something. The 10th standard child is independent. If they have to go somewhere, that 10th standard child can pack the things and be independent, can have food alone and everything. So mother gives less care, in the sense less attention. And the smaller one, 1 year old, always goes on crying, Mama, Mama, I want that, I want this. And the mother knows that he's not independent. He needs my help, or he's completely dependent on me. The mother knows, and he keeps calling the mother, calling the attention. So definitely mother will take care of that child more. Does that mean the mother doesn't like the elder one? No. A mother's love is equal to both, right? But only thing, the special care is given because the mother knows that the smaller one needs her or more help more. So that similarly, the devotees always keep calling to Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Do devotional service. Try to. So then, who is calling out? They are calling out. So Krishna will. That's natural. Prabhupada says it's natural to Krishna. For Krishna to have attention to his devotees. It's not a partiality of Krishna. But yes, then why is Krishna making his pure devotees suffer more? If Krishna is taking care of them, if somebody is very pure, Krishna makes them suffer more. Why? Ekta Mataji?
Is it to test them, Mataji? And also
one is to test them.
Also to
devotional.
Okay, Prithvi Mataji.
So when
Hare Krishna Mataji, want to take all the sins in this lifetime so that devotee can go back.
Yes, that is a good thing. And also to show us an example. Like an example given is a mother teaches her daughter in order to teach the daughter-in-law. Or the mother can scold the daughter because she has so much freedom with the daughter than the daughter-in-law. No, the new daughter-in-law coming, she can't directly teach her, but she'll teach her daughter, like you have to do this, and the daughter-in-law learns. Similarly, Krishna teaches through his pure devotees how to live life, or to set an example, as Mataji said, and also to speeden up the process of liberation. If you're supposed to take 10 lives and suffer the reaction, Krishna in one life gives you all the reactions and finish all your karma and take you back home, back to Godhead. So that is also one more thing, right? Yes, Prabhu, so you can go. So, material nature works under the Supreme Lord, and he thus the ultimate performer and cause of all action. So, Krishna is not partial to anyone. He is just that natural affection towards the devotees, because devotees are dependent on him. Okay, so Lord is neutral to everyone. However, when one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care and encourages one to desire in such a way that one may attain to him and be eternally happy. If a mother bird brings a worm or something, and there are few baby birds, and the baby which cries the most, the mother's attention naturally goes there. No, so similarly, the devotees always call out to the Lord, and the Lord just turns. Okay, so these are the differences between soul and the super soul. Okay, 13 to 15 sloka is about that. The soul is eternal, Sachidananda. Super is also eternal, as we are part and parcel. The soul is blissful but suffers when he covers with Maya. But super soul is always blissful and above the three modes. What is another name of Krishna? Because he is above the three modes, or he is beyond our material senses.
Nirguna Mataji.
Adokshaja. Nirguna means Krishna doesn't have any material qualities. Nirguna. Okay. He has spiritual qualities. And soul is cognizant of his body. Super soul is cognizant of all the bodies. Like, for example, the citizen knows only about his patch of land, but the king knows about everyone's land. And super soul is anu, atomic. Super soul is Vibhu, and soul has minute independence to desire, but it is dependent upon the super soul to fulfill the desire. Super soul is completely independent of Swarat. So this is what I said. It's very important to know in this chapter, the relationship between soul, super soul, and material modes. The soul desires it. Okay, start from here. The soul is actually desiring. Like, for example, I want an iPhone, so I desired it. And then super soul has to sanction it based on my punya karma or whatever it is. I have to get sanction from the Lord. If the Krishna thinks it's good for me, Krishna gives it. If Krishna thinks that, no, it's not going to help me, then he's not going to sanction. And the modes of material nature fulfills it, carries it out. So these are the three doers in our life. The soul desire, the super soul sanction, and the material modes carries it out. Okay. So conclusion is that the super soul as a sanction is not responsible for our action. Why? Because it's the soul who initiates the desire. If we didn't have the desire, super soul wouldn't have sanctioned it. So we had the desire. That's why even if there is a negative desire, like a child wants to play with the knife so badly and do a lot of temper tantrums and not eat and so many things, the father or the mother is like, okay, you play with the knife, get a cut, and then you learn. Or you play with the fire, you learn from the mistake. So as a sweet father, Krishna allows us in the negative things also because we desired it. And the modes of material nature are agents of the Lord in fulfilling the desire of the living entity. Benefits of its understanding is that it leads to a state of perfect knowledge. One achieves happiness and real peace. Jnanena tu tat ajnanam yesham naishitam atmana tesham adityavat jnanam prakashyanti tat param. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nations is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So when will the sun comes, what happens? The darkness will go. So similarly, when knowledge comes, all this ajnana or ignorance gets washed away. It says, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hoya Antakaryaha Krishna Taha Nehi Mayara Atikara. Krishna Surya Sama. Krishna is like sun and Maya is like darkness. Okay. Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hoya Andakar. Maya is darkness. And Yaha Krishna Taha Nehi Mayara Atikara. Wherever there is Krishna, there is no Maya. Wherever there is sunlight, there is no darkness. Okay. So transcendental knowledge is 5.16. It enlightens us and removes us from all bewilderment. So transcendental knowledge is achieved when one surrenders to Krishna. When did Arjuna surrender to Krishna? Which chapter we see?
2.7.
Chapter 2, Mataji.
2.7. Anybody knows the sloka? Anybody knows the sloka?
Karpanya dosha Gachami tvam sarva sammudha chetah yachrehasya nishchitam bruhi tanne shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam.
Yes, very, very nice. So what is he saying? Karpanya dosha upahada swabhava. So much of doshas or all these lamentations, everything has come on me. And then, please save me. Shishyasteham shadimam tam, make me your disciple. So there he is actually surrendering. So when we surrender to our Guru, when we surrender to Krishna, then what happens? All the ajnana will go. Om ajnana timirandasya. We are born out of ajnana or ignorance of cataract. And then who will destroy it with the torchlight of knowledge? Krishna. Teshamevanu kampartam aham ajnanajam dapaha nashyami atma bhavat. So jnana deepena bhashada. Krishna will give that jnana, and that's through Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Okay, so the knowledge is what? To know that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. To know that we are not this body but spirit soul, and to know that we can never become God but eternally different from the Lord. So two categories of wilderness: to identify oneself with the matter and to think oneself as God. That is for Mayavadism. You're God, I am God, we are all God. Seeking, so does anyone know Daridra Narayan concept? That's what the Mayavadis they call Daridra Narayan. No, never heard about it?
Yes, Mataji.
Now what is it, bro? Not heard.
I mean, those who are Daridra, they are also considered as Narayan. I mean,
Yeah.
something like this.
So Mayavadis, what do they think? You're God, I'm God, we are all God. So you are Narayan, I'm Narayan, all are Narayan. Even a beggar in the street is Narayan. That's what they say. So that's the concept called Daridra Narayan. But let us ask them, how can Narayana be Daridra? Lakshmi Sahasra Sada Sambhrama Sevyam. Thousands of Lakshmis are serving Krishna, and Lakshmi Devi herself is the better half of the Lord, in the sense always with the Lord. And how can we say that Narayan be Daridra? That concept is totally wrong. It's a wrong concept by the Mayavadis, because they think everybody is Narayan, and that's stupidness. We can't become the Lord. We are just part and parcel of the Lord, or we are servants of the Lord. Okay, so that's why they want to become one with the Lord, the Mayavadis, which is a Kaivalyam Naragaide. It's like hell getting merged into the Brahman. And what's the use? Aruhi Krichena Parampadam Tat Padantiyade. Again, you come back. No use of merging. There is only Brahmananda, no Sevananda. So we have to seek a bona fide spiritual master before that to get real knowledge in Krishna consciousness. And such a bona fide spiritual master never claims that he is God, although he's paid all respect, ordinarily paid to God, but he has knowledge of the Lord. So a spiritual master never says he's God. When Srila Prabhupada was asked, are you God? He said, no, I'm servant of God. And he immediately corrected and said, no, I'm trying to be a servant of God. So that's what a guru is. Even though Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastra, all the Shastra says Krishna, Guru is considered as a God. But we give them the respect, but we don't, the Guru doesn't claim himself as God. Then he's fake. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela says Krishna Surya Samamaya Hai Andhakar Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Radhikar. So Lord is like effulgent sun. Whenever the Supreme Personality Godhead is present, there cannot be darkness or ignorance. Actually, this dark universe is illuminated by the sun, but the sun and the moon simply are what? The eyes of the Lord, and reflects the bodily effulgence of the Lord. Okay. So one who takes shelter of the super soul in full knowledge becomes impartial in material transactions and find quick path to liberation. So we should understand our relationship with the soul, super soul, and material nature. What is the relation? The soul. What does the soul do?
Desires.
Soul
Desire.
the
The super soul
sanctions.
sanctions, and the super force of material nature.
Fulfilled.
Fulfills it.
It carries it out, or it is the one who actually makes it happen. Okay. So this knowledge will remove our ignorance. When ignorance is removed, the living entity takes shelter of the super soul and attain perfection. Tat budayas tadatmanas tannistas tatparayanaha gachanti apunar avritim jnana nirdota kalmashaha. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. When everything is fixed on the Lord, then what happens? All this ignorance will go away and we get to liberation. So we should become fixed in the Supreme. The Bhagavad Gita is about that. Yeah? It centers about that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. And Paratattva means supreme reality. One is understood by the knower of the Supreme as a Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanamatvyam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavani shabdate. So in three ways we can understand Krishna. One is Brahman, the light, the Paramatma, the localized feature in the heart, and Bhagavan. What's the size of the soul?
1/10,000
1 by 10,000 part of the tip of the hair.
Yeah, so Kesha Agra Shata Bhagasya, Kesha Agra Shata Bhagasya. Right, so 1 by 10,000 or 1 by 100 of the tip of the hair. Okay, so Yes, 1 by 10,000. So what about the super soul
8 inches,
8
Mataji.
inches.
or
The
distance between
distance between the thumb and the small finger.
ring finger?
Ring.
Okay, so distance between the ring finger and the thumb. So that's 8 inch that's given. I think it's 2.8 something. In second canto, it is mentioned in Bhagavatam. So by fixing our mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge in Krishna, one is washed away all misgivings and one achieves perfect knowledge in everything concerning trust. Thus, one achieves through understanding that there is duality in Krishna, simultaneously identity and individuality. What is that called as? Simultaneously, we are same as the Lord and different from the Lord.
Achintya Bheda.
Achintya Beda Beda.
Achinta Beda Abeda Tattvam. That was given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says that simultaneously, at the same time, we are one with the Lord in quality and different from the Lord in quantity. Vidya Vinaya Sambanne Brahmane Kavi Hastine Shune Cheva Swapake Cha Pandita Samadarshinaha. This is a very important sloka to be memorized. He says that the humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and a gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Okay, Chandala, everybody as equal. Why? Why does he say everyone equal?
Because
Paramatma resides in everyone.
Yeah, so he he sees everybody as part and parcel of the Lord, or he sees the Paramatma in everyone. Yes, that's equality of vision. A self-realized soul can see everything and everyone equally. Because why? Because spiritual equality of living entity as spirit soul, and he sees the Paramatma. The Lord neutrally present in the heart as Paramatma, he sees that. So there is similarity in quality but different in quantity. The individual soul is only present in that particular body, but Paramatma is present in each and every one's body. Even it is said when we come, the soul comes as a worm in the stool. Still, Krishna comes as Paramatma in that particular body. So Krishna is so merciful that in so many life, Krishna has come in 84 lakh species of life. So we'll have a small breakout room. After that, the attendance will be posted. Discuss with examples from Srila Prabhupada's life, how Srila Prabhupada demonstrated this principle of Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Brahmane Kavi Hastineshwini, Chevas Pakecha, Pandita Samadarshana. How Prabhupada became Pandita Samadarshana. That's a sloka, 5.18. Go through the sloka. And then how you have to tell some instance from Prabhupada's life, okay? Like some examples or some pastimes to show that Prabhupada is Pandita Samadarshina, that Prabhupada treats everyone equally. Hare Krishna. All are back.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so Sharanya Mataji, can you please post the attendance link?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, so who's speaking from room number 4?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Aryan.
Yeah. So we write down the few points that first of all, if we just think with I mean, Prabhupada's point of view, he actually sees everyone from soul to soul. So the normal people sees everyone through the bodily content, but Prabhupada sees as soul to soul, and because it is also mentioned in Gita that soul to soul connection, it is eternal and it is blissful. So Krishna also mentioned it in the Gita. So Prabhupada sees in that way, being an Uttamadhikari, Prabhupada sees Krishna in everyone. So that is why never characterized anything. And the second point is he never uh, put any condition to become a devotee of Krishna. Like there is no caste system there that you need to be a Brahman or Kshatriya or Vaishya, Shudra or anything like that. You need to be someone who just want to serve the Lord, and that is the only criteria required to become a true devotee. And second and third thing also, because Prabhupada is a Krishna conscious person, he also doesn't differentiate between man and woman. Everyone is welcome in his movement. And his best quality being a good uh, I mean very elevated soul, he choose the lowest graded person in the foreign country, knows all that, and then transform them into pure devotee. So that is the quality Prabhupada had. And of course, there are like a few points also that Prabhupada didn't consume the knowledge inside him. He used all the materialistic thing for Krishna movement purpose and shared his all knowledge to with the rest of the world. So that all the category of person, those who doesn't have known anything, they can get the knowledge and can purify their soul and become blissful and get the mercy of the Lord. So these are the few points, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, room number 2. No, 3. Ikta Mataji, push. Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. So few points that we've noted down. So, when Srila Prabhupada was in US, and he, so drug addicts who were taking LSD, he did not kind of, stay. So normal people like us, they would stay away from drug addicts, right? But he gave them mercy, his mercy, and he treated them equal, and he gave them all the knowledge. He tried to make them devotees. So he treated them equally, like he did not discriminate. And he also gave his knowledge to everyone. He did not discriminate, like, he's small and, this caste, or he's a Christian. He treated all religions, all living beings as equal, and also he treated women, equal to men. What I've read is that, in Gaudiya Sampradaya earlier, women were not allowed, to become disciple, or, they were like till Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. But he changed that, he treated women equally. He also gave them, opportunity to perform, like, Aarti and, like, do DT Seva and all of that, which was not allowed earlier. And few examples, he treated, birds and trees also, equal to all the living entities. So the example is that, when there was a temple where, birds were trying to build a nest, and devotees and his disciples were removing it, but he told them, not to do that. He said that, birds are also, are living entities, and they have the right to build the nest. And he was equally, like, worried about the trees, tree. And there will be, like, temple, when the temples are built, and if there is a tree coming in between, then he would say that, let the tree be there, and, you build your temple around the tree. So he never let, the devotees or his disciples to remove the tree while building the temple. And then, one more example, is that he was there in New York, and his devotees were calling him from San Francisco, and his devotees in New York did not want him to go, but he went. He ignored the plea of his devotees in New York, and he went there. So for him, all the devotees were equal, and he went there, and that's when he did his Sankirtana movement. And he also built a temple in San Francisco. One more example, that in US there was a drunkard devotee who used to kind of come, and he used to come every day, and devotees were kind of complaining about that drunkard devotee who was coming to the temple or the center. And one day he had fallen in front of Srila Prabhupada because he was so drunk. But then he told all the other devotees that, see, he's falling in front of on my feet. So of course he knew that he was just falling because he was drunk, but he wanted to share, show the positivity. So these are some of the examples, Mataji, from our group. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Was I on Hare Krishna, Mataji?
Yes.
Was I on?
Yes. Anyone else like to add on that group? Okay, nice. Room number 2, Aditi Mataji, Masavi Mataji. Next.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
So the first thing is Samadarshana. The meaning is like seeing everything related to Krishna is just like Samadarshana. Without seeing everything not related to Krishna is not Samadarshana. So first of all, the main thing that Srila Prabhupada go to beyond this India and go to the Western countries. If he thought like that, okay, I'm just Indian and I'm born in India, Mahaprabhu born in India, and I will do this only for India's people. That will not. So he go to even Western countries to preach this message and seeing everything, every jivatma of related to Krishna's past and passes. He spread this Krishna consciousness. That's the first thing of the speech of that he make his founder Acharya. And the second thing is how he see the every situation, just like in Mayapur also, and in Vrindavan also, there is many problems come to the thing, but he continue his chanting and all the rounds and preaching everything and saying everything related to Krishna, that this problem hinders because of this Krishna. And every problem when occur, even before going to Western countries, he just write a poem in the board that in the Jaladut that Krishna just make me dance. So he see everything related to Krishna is Samadarshana. And another thing I have to add that he gave proper name that countries of like New Vrindavan, New Mayapur, Damodar Desh. They're seeing everything related to Krishna and every debut, and just like GBC making, even GBC making, he make the disciple GBC, and he said that one point that whatever GBC will decide, I will follow that. I am bound to follow that. That he is not saying like, okay, I am the founder Acharya. Why I will follow these Americans who are just new in Bhakti? So why I will follow? So it's not like that. If every situation, if anything connected to Krishna and lead to Krishna service, he just do that. Puja Mataji, if you want to add something.
Yes, Mataji. Next add Puja
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Sadhu Pranam. So, Maushmi Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. So, Maushmi Mataji has already given the points. There are 2 points which has been earlier also mentioned. So, Prabhupada went to these Western countries, and even in those areas he went where the normal person even can't even stand in those areas, where Prabhupada went and actually transformed the lives of these drug addicts and the hippie people. And so he saw everybody with that vision, and he tried to reach with every person, and try to give the Krishna consciousness to everybody. And the second point, what I would like to say, Mataji, that Prabhupada said that the regulatory principle, meat eating is prohibited. and that every jiva, so every jiva, we should not be envious to and for our sense enjoyment, we should not eat the flesh of other animals, and because living entity, the Paramatma is there in every soul, so every living entity. So one should not, meat eating is prohibited by Prabhupada, and this is the legislative principles to be followed by everybody. So this is Samadarshina. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anyone else like to add? Okay. So that's from room number 2. What about room number 1?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Mataji, so there are few pastimes of Srila Prabhupada which I am able to recollect.
Nice.
Yeah. Like Prabhupada received order from his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to preach in Western world. So Prabhupada not think like that I will go to Western world and preach to only Indians because they are easy to preach them. But Prabhupada preached to everyone. And apart from this, Srila Prabhupada also preached to the hippies, those who were not following the regulative principles. So Srila Prabhupada make these hippies into happy. And apart from this, regarding Mataji's, Srila Prabhupada did deity worship, introduced deity worship concept to Mataji's also. In initial days, I mean in other sects also, Srila Prabhupada devotees were just in other sects also. So there is no allowed to Mataji's to do deity worship, but Srila Prabhupada allowed them. And regarding this, like Yamuna Mataji, so the Govindam Adi portion, the Brahma Samhita prayer, which was written, sing by Yamuna Mataji, Prabhupada allowed that, even though most of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada was not agreeing with him. And apart from this, in initial days, in 22nd Avenue, behind the quarter, Srila Prabhupada saw a queue of ants which were going. So Srila Prabhupada chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra for them also. So it shows how Srila Prabhupada treat every living entity the same. And apart from this, there was one devotee who was attracted by Srila Prabhupada's Rolex watch. So he just came into the Hare Krishna movement to steal the Srila Prabhupada's watch, but ended up becoming the disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And apart from this, the many initial disciples of Srila Prabhupada like Garga Muni Prabhu and others used to do meat eating, but Srila Prabhupada not discriminate them on the basis of it, but also make them their disciples. So these were the few points which we were able to recollect.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. So very nice about Prabhupada giving importance to Mataji's, because as Prabhu said, yes, Prabhupada never saw any difference. It's just an outer covering. Prabhupada says it's the soul. If we think we are a Mataji's, then we can't advance. So Prabhupada never, when his god brothers criticized and saying that how can a sannyasi be with the Mataji's, and then Prabhupada said, what is wrong if a father takes service from their daughters? Because all the Prabhupada's disciples were his spiritual daughters, and we are granddaughters or grandchildren. So Prabhupada never saw any difference like that. He always gave chance to everyone equally. He gave chance to every disciple who surrendered to him, because Prabhupada saw them as spirit, soul, part and parcel of Krishna. So here, yeah, Vidya Vinaya Sampane, it's a very nice verse saying that Pandita Samadarshana. Prabhupada is a Pandit and he could see everyone equal because he saw the soul and Paramatma in them. Okay. Yes, Pushti Mataji, anything to add?
No, Mataji, no. I think everybody had summed up everything. Yeah, I was thinking about the lower dowry, but Prabhuji just mentioned that. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I have a doubt, Mataji. In the 3 duels, can I ask Mataji?
Yes.
Yeah. Mataji, when we are desiring something, maybe Krishna has not sanctioned it, so my desire not fulfilled. So maybe I'm under the impression that Krishna is having a better plan. So that's the reason he has not approved it. That may be one case. Or second case, I may think that it's not in my karma. Maybe I'm not eligible for that. That's the reason it has not been approved. And sometimes it happens. Maybe it is due to my inefficiency also. It has not got fulfilled. But maybe I'm not accepting it as my inefficiency. I'm considering it as Krishna has not sanctioned it, or it is not there in the karma. So how do I differentiate that particular thin line of gap? Maybe it is my inefficiency, or Krishna has not sanctioned it because it's not suitable for me.
Yeah, that's very difficult to actually know. Only Krishna knows why it has happened, because it said that no demigods were ready to take up karma field. So it was Yamaraj or Dharmaraj who actually took the karma field. So it says whatever happens in a life, only Krishna and Dharmaraj actually knew, because they were there. They were knowing all our karmas and our sinful and pious activities and everything. But definitely we have done some Ajnana Sukritis to come to Krishna consciousness. And once we come to Krishna consciousness, once we are devotees, then it's Krishna's plan working, Mataji. It's not your inefficiency, because Krishna controls the devotees, or whatever happens in a devotee's life. Yes, the past sinful reactions keep coming, but we are supposed to suffer so much. Krishna will make us suffer little. So because Krishna is controlling karma, or Krishna can do magic for a devotee case. So it is said that when Krishna doesn't like a plan to work or something, desires it, you say why Krishna is doing that is so that that plan doesn't eat you up. In the sense, the plan, before the plan destroys us, Krishna destroys our plan, it is said. So Krishna knows what is good for this person. Why? Because Krishna sees in a spiritual way. Like he doesn't want anything to come in between Krishna and the devotee. So might be if the devotee is getting attached to some material things and desiring some material, or might be something spiritual itself. But then Krishna knows that if that comes, might be some pride might come in that devotee, or might be some jealousy comes, and people start hating, or something goes wrong. So Krishna knows that what is good for us, what is not good for us. So for Krishna, based on, yes, our pious deeds, even that is there, punya, for something to happen good. But then if it's spiritual desires, if it's really good for us, Krishna sanctions it. And it is said, if our plan is not working, then it's Krishna's plan working. If our plan works, we should be happy that, oh, my plan is working. But if our plan is not working, we should be more happier. Why? Because it's Krishna's plan working. So we really can't differentiate what is it actually causing it. But definitely it's Krishna's mercy once we are devotees, Mataji. Our non-devotee, we can't say like that. But for a devotee, yes, it's Krishna's, you have to see Krishna's hand in everything. It says it's Krishna's mercy. We might feel bad at that time, but after so many years, we turn back and see Krishna arranges everything perfectly in our life, because Krishna will never do anything wrong, and he never cheats us, or he never betrays us. He loves all his devotees, right? So we should have that faith in Krishna and surrender ourselves, in the sense, whatever Krishna decides, let that happen. And avashya rakshave Krishna. Krishna will definitely protect. Yes, Jyoti Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Coming to this same sanction and desiring, Mataji, but terrorism is completely adharma, Mataji. It's
Yes.
vanishing everything, and how Krishna is sanctioning. He's so merciful and loving Father.
So
He
I
sees
already
everyone
discussed
equal.
this. I already discussed this in the class. I was saying that why Krishna is sanctioning terrorism is because the jiva desired it. That particular jiva have done some sin in his previous life, and that sinful, sinful disposition, like a puta or a bija, the sinful desire is carried in this life. Now, in this life, when he desired something negative, Krishna wanted to not to sanction it. But the jiva is so adamant that the jiva wants that to happen. Krishna, like a sweet father, because he's misusing the minute independence, Krishna sanctions it so as we learn a lesson from that. Like, for example, you have killed somebody in a previous life, then in this life, we get killed by that person. No, jiva, jiva, sujivana. It is said that mamsa means that. Like when you kill somebody in previous life, then that person will come and kill us in this life. So for that karma to happen also, such things will happen. And so all this karma comes back, and Krishna is sanctioning like a sweet father. Like if I gave this example, when a child wants to play with fire, so much the father and mother will say, don't touch fire, don't touch fire, don't play with it, don't play with it. Oh, it's a knife. We know that it's going to cut his hand, but then the child is so adamant and falling on the ground and doing all kind of temper tantrums. The father will allow, in the sense as, okay, you learn a lesson by that, and the child cuts the hand, And then from next time, he'll be very careful. So Krishna as a sweet father is allowing us to learn by experience, Mataji. So this terrorism, it's because of our, again, karma coming back. Might be the people dying in that terrorism or whatever have killed someone in previous life. So that karma also has to come back. But Krishna doesn't interfere in your minute independence. You've given the minute independence, he never interfere in that, or that the jiva, since the jiva desired it, Krishna sanctions it. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Otherwise,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
will never
Mataji,
say.
but we say, no, man proposes, God disposes, that is also
Yes.
without interfering in minute independence. No, Mataji.
Yeah. We may desire so many things, but then Krishna can dispose it in a moment. Or Krishna, only if he wants, he sanctions it. Otherwise, he doesn't. So it's his will because he's independent. We can't force Krishna. We can't question Krishna. Definitely, it is to be done to our karma. And Krishna knows what is good for this soul. Krishna sees in a spiritual aspect also. So it said that once you're demonic, you go to the demonic life again and again. But because of some Vaishnava's mercy, it's also possible that we come out of all these clutches. Okay, so we'll stop in 5.18. So we'll start from 5.19 next week. Okay, so I'm closing the open book form. I hope everyone have uploaded. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sharana Mataji. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripasindu devi cha patidana pavane vaishnavi. Anand Kodi Vaishnavi ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.